Alrighty, Hatcher, knee, did not participate. Miller, ankle, did not participate. Trent Williams, shoulder, did not participate. Limited was Merriweather with his toe. Keenan Robinson with his knee. Full was Lichtensteiger with his knee. Compton with his shoulder. Baker with his chest and toe. And Halou with his toe. He was did not participate.
Jay, we didn't see Jordan Reed out there during the portion that was open. What's going on there?
He, I think, was having his first baby today. Congratulations to Jordan.
With Hatcher, is there any chance for him to go tomorrow to do anything this week?
I don't know. We just have to wait and see. It's giving him some problems here, and we're trying to do everything we can to, speed up the process. But, he can only do what he can do. It's, we're just trying to get him right for this week or maybe next week. But, only time will tell with that. That's what I have to deal with.
When we're going back to with penalties, and when you're preaching to guys, as far as discipline, how do you get that message to go through? How do you enforce it if you see guys who are continually kind of making the same mistakes, over-aggression, or just not concentrating, snap count, that type of thing? How do you hammer home to correct those problems?
Well, we haven't had really the same guy do it over and over again. Breeland had a couple in the game. They were debatable, really. The PI call, even the personal foul. Both of them were John, and I don't know why they picked on Bashaud. But overall, it's a combination of a lot of guys. It's a lot of focus. It just goes on in the course of a game. Sometimes they're tight end, sometimes a tackle, sometimes it's a defensive end, sometimes it's a nose guard, whatever. It's just something that we have to continue to coach and preach of how accountability and dependability is very important. And penalties are a major issue with us this year, special teams, offense, defense, all of them. And we have done the best we can as far as helping them understand the importance of self-inflicted wounds. But sometimes they happen, and unfortunately happen more often than not last week. But the same guy hasn't really been doing them as far as I'm concerned.
Jay, obviously you deal with Bruce Allen on a day-in, day-out basis. What are your dealings with A.J. Smith, especially when he's here or even when he's not here? How often do you guys talk about personnel and what you guys need as an organization?
I had lunch with him just now. Personnel and all that stuff, really, we're going to finish this season out with the players we have and get them coached up and then evaluate everybody after the season. And then we'll go into the draft process, obviously, and free agency, and all that will come later. Right now it's more about the players that we have, coaching the guys that we have, and trying to get them to finish strong and finish on a high note. And then all the evaluation process with Bruce and AJ, that'll happen when the season's over.
You look at the situation, this kind of expands on what Chris said. When you look at some of the guys that you have, do you feel like maybe some of these guys are better than you thought under the circumstances where you really feel like you can go into next year and keep developing those players? Or do you feel like you have players that you can depend on going forward?
I think so. I think a core nucleus of guys we have here are pretty competitive, really. We haven't produced very well, obviously, and that's an issue that we have to deal with as a staff of getting the most out of our players. But the players that are here right now, they've all shown promise of being good, solid, core NFL football players. We just got to get more out of them. And but I think they're working hard. I think a lot of guys have stepped up in a situation they weren't expected to step up in with the injuries, and some of them have produced. Some of them need to do better, but overall, I think there's a group of guys in here that are very good for the future.
Last time you played the Eagles, you had a lot of success offensively, moved the ball probably as well as you have all season. How do you, going into a rematch, how do you kind of balance sticking with what worked, but changing it up so they don't know what to expect?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough. There's a fine line in that, but they've changed up some of their defensive schemes also a little bit. But it's a matter of do what we do and what Robert's comfortable with and what our offense is comfortable with, and trying to attack what they do. So some of it will be what we did against them last time. Some will be what we've infused in our offense in the last few weeks. It's a combination of things, but the big thing is getting our guys comfortable and doing what we know how to do and playing good, sound football.
Both Pierre and Deshaun haven't gotten as many targets as they have in past years. What's their attitude been like towards that, and what have you kind of said to them to reassure them?
Yeah, I mean, they're great competitors, and they want to help the football team in the worst way. And when they don't feel like their number's called, then obviously they feel like they're underutilized. And, you know, both of them are great players. And we want to try to get them the ball as much as possible. And sometimes you do. Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way based on pressure, coverage, or what have you. So we're going to continue to call the game that we think is the best for everybody involved, and hopefully they'll all get involved. You know, it's running game, you want to get involved. You want to get the tight ends involved. You want to get the backs involved in the passing game. And obviously you want to try to get your best players the ball, and they're two of our best. So we got to do a good job of trying to get them more balls.
Not all protection issues are on the line, but where would you gauge where the line is now compared to the start of the season? Have they gotten better? Have they regressed? And has it played out like you hoped when you drafted? I know Morgan Modus, obviously he got hurt, but Spencer Long, some of those young guys, as far as not being able to work their way into the mix developmental-wise.
Yeah, I mean, we've all had our issues offensively. Obviously, production standpoint, you know, we scored 6 against Houston. We got shut out against St. Louis. We didn't do very well against Tampa. We only scored 13 against the Giants. We've had some issues, and a lot of people want to pin it on the line. Some people want to pin it on the quarterback, the offensive coordinator, the head coach, whatever. But it's a combination of things. But the big thing for offensive line, you know, we've put them in some tough situations along with the quarterbacks, being behind on the sticks, third down and longs, and then, of course, being behind in games in the fourth quarter where these quality pass rushers on other teams get a chance to tee off and run every stunt known to man, and we're having to take 5- and 7-step drops and read concepts out. And it's hard trying to catch up. So, you know, I think they've competed. I think the line has done some good things. I think too much of the blame goes on the offensive line. I think we're all in this together, but overall I think Corey Lichtensteiger's had a solid year. I think Chris Chester's played very well at right guard. I think Trent's Trent. You know, he's had some injury issues. And Laval's done some good things at left guard. And of course, we've been battling at right tackle. Compton's showing some improvement as the season goes on. And then Spencer, in practice, is getting quality work. And I think he's ready to go. And Laribas, when he played, did some decent things. So, you know, when you look at the course of a game, you know, you break them down and you grade them. He's 82%, he's 86%. It's the plays that they don't grade out well that really become glaring. But overall, as a unit, they've done some good things, I think.
Jay, with 2 games left, what can Robert Griffin show you over these 2 games that would indicate the progress you're looking for?
You know what? I just want Robert to go out there and play. And one thing about Robert, I know he's going to give it his best shot. And really, as a coach, that's all you want. We'll do all the coaching after the game and during the game and try to put him in great situations. But Robert just needs to go out there and play and do as best he can, which I know he will, and that'll be good enough, I think. And all the coaching and teaching will take place afterwards. But, you know, if everybody gives us their best shot, then I think we'll have a good chance on Saturday.
Jay, this is obviously beyond your control, but how much have you and Larry and the doctors talked about Bashaud's situation and how much it flared up on Sunday? And do you have any, I guess, answers right now moving forward that it won't be as much of an issue as it was last week?
Yeah, we hope so. I think now that we know, you know, what type of issue it is, I think it has a bigger impact when it was a little bit colder outside, and the colder it gets, maybe we have to take more of a precautionary measure with breathing machines and all that stuff to make sure he's okay and have his, what's that thing called? Inhaler. Inhaler out there for him, ready to go, and now that we know the issues, I think he'll be better prepared because of it.
Jay, can you shed some light on what the challenges are to maintain cohesion for the offense when you deal with so many different quarterback changes and due to injuries and other factors? What's that like to work through that?
Well, it's difficult. You know, you have, you know, timing is very, very important. Timing and precision is very important in any offense. And when you change quarterbacks, even as little as a snap count, you know, that's important. Everybody's different with the snap count. We try to keep everything the same, but that's different. Ball handling is different with all 3 guys. So cohesion is very important. You'd love to have one guy there all the time. Unfortunately, we haven't had that luxury. But the good thing is Robert has taken the bulk of the snaps in training camp and OTAs, and he's played a lot of football with these guys before. So I feel pretty good about it. But, you know, Deshaun just got here, and Andre Roberts just got here. So there are some new targets that he's still working through, and they're working through together as far as timing and accuracy goes. But that comes with time.
Just as a follow-up to that, you go back to Cincinnati, for example, and you had one quarterback, one system. You had a lot of cohesion at that position. What have you learned as a coach about trying to work through that with this situation compared to one where you've got an established guy who's there?
Well, it's, every quarterback's different, and every system is different, and you try to cater to the players that you have, but you also try to attack defenses the best way you can with the system in place. So I think the big thing is just for me getting to know these three quarterbacks. It's been great for me to get to see all three quarterbacks play, get to know them and see what their strengths and weaknesses are and try to work through the weaknesses and try to cater to their strengths. That's the big thing that I'm trying to work through right now. But I think all three of them have shown promise. It's just a matter of me calling plays that are conducive to their strengths and try to do a better job of protecting them.
Jay, Ryan Kerrigan's had sacks in 4 straight games. He's up to 12.5 for the season. Is there a level where if you get X number of sacks, you go from being considered a really good pass rusher to a great pass rusher, and where do you think he is on that scale?
I think he's got to be reckoned with every week. I know that when teams play us, I think he's probably the first guy they think of as far as rushing a passer. He's a guy that is relentless with his approach to every pass rush, and 12.5 is a great number. But, I think he can get more, and hopefully he'll finish up strong and be recognized as one of the top pass rushers in the league. And he's doing it right now with, a young guy on the other side and without Jason Hatcher. And so he's really pulled up. He's really stepped up his game. And he's a great kid, great player, and great competitor. And he's one of those guys that just fits in the great core of guys that we like to have here for a long time.
Jay, what concerns, if any, do you have about the outside perception of this organization and your relationship with Robert in particular?
You know what? It's I don't have much of a concern, really. I know that no matter what I say about Robert, it's going to get twisted one way or the other. If I say he's doing great, it's going to be I'm too easy on him. If I say he needs to work harder, it means I said he's lazy. If I said he's working on his fundamentals, it means I don't like him. I got a ton of respect for Robert, man, and for what he goes through as the quarterback position, what he's already accomplished as a young quarterback, and what he's going to accomplish in the future. How we coach him in here is how we coach him, but we can't let the outside world affect what we do in here. And the whole idea of coach-player relationship is to get better every day and work on our game, work on what I do, work on what I can do to make him better. And that's the bottom line. That's all we can do. That's all we want to do.
How tough is this, Jay? We were just talking to Haz, and he said it was Justin Rogers. I didn't even know his first name. I hadn't seen him in pads all week. Guys just signed him last week. He gets in there, long touchdown on the first play. How tough is it to evaluate sort of what the defense is doing when situations like that are arising seemingly now on a weekly basis?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but we have to expect guys to be ready. And if they're a chance for somebody to play, then we got to make sure they're ready to go and know exactly what to do and how to do it. And that's just part of the deal, man. A lot of teams are going through it. Injuries happen, and guys come in off practice squad, guys come in off the streets and have to come in a short period of time and learn a lot of information in a short period of time. But we got to do a good job of coaches to make sure these players are comfortable when they do have to go in. And that's just part of the business, man. That's why it's not easy coaching.
Thanks, Coach.
All righty. Thank you.